Blog Talk Radio.
I'm your host, Davida Shinsky. This is Live Without Limits, and we're coming to you from the Blog Talk Radio Network. Speak when you're angry, and you'll make the best speech you'll ever regret, said Lawrence J. Peter. Today's show is 5 sexy secrets to creating a presentation that wins 100% of the time. Now, because we are doing an online business, when you're talking about a presentation, you're talking about a sales funnel. So, Russell Brunson is one of the best known for creating sales funnels and setting up ClickFunnels, but his is an online business that it's a tool that you use to market any business. And it's almost become a buzzword in the industry because understanding and using sales funnels is how you are going to market any product launch, any webinar, any ebook, or anything that you come out that's a new product. Russell is working furiously on his 6 presentations for Funnels Hacking Live, and after 48 hours of creative brainstorming, he had the hook, headline, and framework for one of the 6. Yes, you read that right, 48 hours. The purpose of our BAT meeting was to take that same process and help bang out the next 5 headlines and hooks for the remaining 5 presentations. And the point to this show is to try to describe what happens in these meetings in detail so you can learn to do it for yourself because it's amazing. For those of you building products and services, here are the things that I've learned from watching Russell. And the things that I've learned from being involved with Builderall, because you can pay one low price and you can build your website, you can build sales funnels where you could promote the webinars that are hosted on Builderall, that you can create your own presentations, you can create videos, you can even create your own magazine. So the options are unlimited, and when you are looking at starting an online business, digital marketing is the way to go, and learning what's incorporated in digital marketing to help it become what it will be in the future. Everything should be done in reverse. Raise your hand if you ever had a great idea and spent days or months building out an incredible program. Service, of course, first, and then thought, okay, now I need to market this. Not Russell. He does everything backwards. The marketing drives the entire machine of the product to be produced. He's looking at everything through the lens of how compelling is this? How irresistible is this? How sexy is this? How results-driven is it? What were the false beliefs keeping someone from believing it? If you're struggling to write a webinar for the product you built, the problem might not be the webinar. It might be that you built something without letting the marketing of that thing be in charge. Next time, write a webinar registration page first. When you do, it'll force you to think of the things that matter most: the hook, the headline, and the framework. The three secrets. Always remember this, that having a webinar and going back to prior to everything being done through webinars, it used to be seminars. And seminars meant that you had to get the location, you had to pay for it, you had to set up the dates, you had to not only create the product, but you had to print everything. With digital marketing, everything can be done online. It can be done as a PDF that's deliverable, where people can actually participate in it in a virtual room. And understanding how all of that works together and how the overhead for building a business today is far different than what it used to be. Because I can remember back when I was beginning as a professional speaker and trainer, and you either got on with the companies where they sent you out to be the presenters with the seminars, and you got paid $250 a day. And that may seem great if you're thinking of it as just 8 hours, but you got to remember, you have the 2 hours that you have to get up and get ready beforehand, because you have to make sure all the materials are out. You have to make sure that the mics are there and working. You have to make sure the room is set up. You have to then turn around and make sure that all the materials that you need are actually there. And then you also have to think about the back of the room sales, of the audios and the tapes. Usually they were made by Nightingale Conant. Then you got and did your 8-hour presentation. But then guess what? After all of that was over and the students were all gone, then you had to break everything down. You had to make sure that what was ever left over in product got boxed and shipped back to the company. Then you had to get in a car and travel to the next city where you were going to be starting all over again. And you did this 5 days a week. That's why many of the speakers who got on with these companies would do it a couple of months and then leave. But today, because everything is done online, from the home, in a virtual room, and everything is there with a PDF and videos and audios, then what you're doing is vastly different than what it used to be in the past. So understanding all of that, then it helps you understand the importance of the marketing and the sales funnel, because the sales funnel is what hooks someone into wanting to buy into taking your webinar, taking your course, becoming a part of who you are and what it is that you have to sell. So, brainstorm your framework until it's a doodle. You've seen Russell's Doodles, right? They're really simple, and simple is not less valuable than complex. In fact, just the opposite. Just look at Apple products. When Apple came out with the iMac, the one that didn't have a base unit, just a monitor, it was a simple design. There was also just one button. Each and every model that came out became more simple and streamlined. The newest iPhone doesn't even have a home button or a headphone input. The same goes for a presentation. Your framework will most likely start out complex and a bit confusing. Keep working on it until you can get it down to one doodle. Your doodle will force you to keep the main foundational pieces clear in your mind. It'll give you a roadmap and a blueprint for your teaching so you don't go off track. It also helps your customers and prospects follow along. Remember, they are not experts in your field, you are. You may be geeking out on the slight nuances of your topic, but most of your customers just want enough information and education to see the results they want. The doodle within the doodles. Some of you might be thinking, but my teaching is too complex for a doodle. That's the funny thing about a doodle. It becomes the skeleton of what you teach, but each individual line or shape of the doodle can infinitely expand out. Let's look at an example. You're looking at a doodle of the viral loop, which is a part of a new booklet coming out soon. The doodle itself is fairly simple. It's outlining a four-step process. However, for each of these four pieces, there are doodles within the doodle. I uploaded below a doodle of the number one, the doodle above. Guess what? Each of these pieces can also be drilled down even further. You can draw doodles within the doodles all day long and go deep into the complex topic. As an expert, you see all the little pieces and you try to cram them into one doodle. Don't strip it down to the bones and then go back to the details. In this way, you will always be able to give the presentation at a moment's notice because you've memorized the framework. It's the same thing when giving a speech in front of a group, when you practice it so many times that you practically know what it is before you even get started. Because if you ever watch an actor or a TV show where the characters are speaking with each other, they have practiced and done what they've done for so long that it almost becomes second nature to them what to do and how to act. Remember, the system, the framework upon which you work in is all the same. But when you literally put together an outline of what it is that you want, and then you take each section of that outline and you pull it all together and you look at it and you maneuver it and you figure out what it is that you can do to change things around to make them better, and you're looking for ways that you can literally take their framework and pull it together. And by pulling it together and you get into all the detail of each little thing, then what you've actually done is you've created something that allows you to take that framework, to look at it, to figure out what it is that makes it work. And when you put together a presentation, that presentation first has a outline where it's an introduction, where you literally go over and tell someone what you're going to tell them. Then it has the body where you actually discuss what it is that you're teaching them. And then from there, it goes down into the ending. And in that ending, you actually tell them what it was that you taught them so that they're getting reinforcement. And in the beginning, they're learning, okay, so this is what it's going to be, and this is what we're going to be looking at now. How are we going to take all of these elements and make them flow? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about the doodle. That you've taken notes and you've taken notes and you've gone around and you've looked at it and you refined it. It's like when you get a team of people working on a project and you've got one project manager, but you've got, and think of it in the call letters of care: creator, advancer, refiner, enforcer. That all of these things are laid out and gone over and kept notes and detailed to the point that you literally know all the segments before you even put it out there and advertise it. The four elements of a $3 million presentation. Many of you heard, how could you not, of the infamous $3 million presentation Russell gave at the Grant Cardone event. If you look at all his presentations and webinars, you'll see the same elements again and again. A sexy hook. This is the name of your presentation, a curious tagline or headline. This is the curiosity factor that makes people want to listen. Memorable stories. This is what gets them to care and believe. Now, when you think of a memorable story, make it your own. For instance, what makes one motivational speaker different from another when they're basically both giving the same message? Their personal stories, their experiences. That's what makes each of them different. A sexy design. You don't have to be an amazing designer, but what you present must feel and look sexy to the viewer. So in a normal, non-marketer brain, someone might make a presentation called Social Media Mastery. Is the hook. The headline is how to excel at all social media platforms in 2018. The story is to give statistics and examples of how much social media is growing. Design. Show pictures of the platforms, the logos, and so on. Russell does it completely different. His hook is the conversation domination. His headline, how to get your dream clients addictively binge watching you on every platform that they live on. Warning, this aggressive approach is only for those who really believe in the approach, is only for those who truly believe in their message. The story is, he's going to tell a story about how social media relates to the invention of the TV back in the 50s and the 60s. His design, everything is going to have a retro and vintage feel. Okay. Whether you're talking about social media or whether you're talking about putting together a course on digital marketing, or whether you're going to be talking about affiliate marketing, the hook is to master digital marketing. The headline is building a digital marketing system with the best possible product out there. And the story is to talk about all the features and the tools within that platform that makes it the best. And the design is to literally show you and demo each little tool to show someone how to take all of the tools and make them work together. This is something that in today's marketplace, when you have an online business, because every business today is an online business, there is a system that works, and that system is internet marketing. And what's in internet marketing is the digital marketing, which breaks down into the content marketing, which breaks down into podcasting, which also breaks down into doing webinars and posting videos. And then you also have to have a magazine, something that you can get out to your prospects and your customers. And all of that pulls together with an autoresponder, because when you have a list of people that you are building a relationship by giving them information that they can use, then what are you doing? But you've literally created a system that works and helps you to increase sales no matter what industry or niche you're into. When your funnel doesn't work and you don't know your product is amazing, it boils down to the hook, the headline, or the framework. This is why I was in the back cave for 2 hours just banging out headline ideas with Karen, Jake, and Russell, because he knows how important these 3 pieces are to everything. At one point, we were going back and forth about one word. One word. If your funnel isn't working, have you spent at least 2 hours on your hook, headline, and framework? Have you really scrutinized every word to make sure it's as sexy and curious as possible? If you've not sure about your hook or headline, run a new Facebook or Twitter ads to a couple of different variations and see which one generates more clicks. If you have a list of a group, you can also crowdsource. The most important lessons I'm learning inside the Bat Cave all boil down to simplicity, sexiness, and curiosity. Go back and look at your funnels and see you can find those 3 things inside your funnel. If you can't, you and your hard work have to do more to make it all work to the best of your ability and to make it work in a way that what you're offering is something that will generate you the sales that you need. And the best way to do this is with an autoresponder. Why? Because with that autoresponder, you can do a split test and you can try out different types of ways of saying things. And by understanding that, what is that allowing you to do? It's allowing you to give yourself the opportunity to figure out what works. Because even though it's pennies on the dollar to market today, then what you really need to understand is how to make it the most effective. Because if you've noticed, companies and individuals are now doing text messaging. Why? Because just like emails, it's what works. And emails have been going on for a while now, but text messaging is relatively new. People are more likely to open a text message currently because of what they're actually looking for and because they're not bombarded. And you know what? What you're also finding is that as more and more people begin to get someone's phone number, then down the road, if you are not giving them good information and making it a situation where they currently want to work with you, then what's going to happen is that you will lose them. And when you are putting together an autoresponder and you're putting in your emails, always remember this, that it should either be a sequence of 2-to-1 or 5-to-1, where you are giving them more value for what you are charging. Because you know what? It's like you may charge $100 for a program today, or $97 for an ebook and an e-learning course. But if you want to build up a relationship with your customers, then down the road you can always upsell them to a more higher priced product. That's how you increase your income. And if you do not give value to someone, then whether or not they want to buy from you in the future depends on what you are offering them today and how much value they perceive in what you have to offer. Also remember this, every one of us are unique and different. Each of us have different personalities. Each of us do things differently, and what makes one person great doing one thing may not make the other person as great, because we all have different strengths and different weaknesses, and how you play into what you do best and how you put together a team of people where each of them have different strengths, that when you come together, it makes everything what it is and what makes it work. Because if you have 2 to 3 people all having a similar personality, then they all can think, oh, they came up with the greatest product, but it's not going to be the greatest product because they think alike. You want someone who's completely the opposite, because you want to be able to bounce ideas off of each other. And I mentioned earlier the creator, the advancer, the refiner, and the enforcer. And then you also have the facilitator, who's someone who falls in all 4 quadrants. But the creator is the person who comes up with the idea. They know what they want to do, but they can't put it in the right words, and they don't know how to make it work. And the advancer is someone that, when it's passed off to him, can refine it, can look at it, can break it down. Then it goes to the refiner, and they refine it even more to make it work totally. Then you have the enforcer, who actually puts it out there. Where the facilitator comes in is that he can work with everyone else and bounce ideas off each other, that it makes it all work together. So always remember, it's best to have a team of people around you that really can pull it together, because you have some people that can really talk to everyone. They can get them all on board. You've got other people that they have the ideas, and it's always percolating in their head. They know what they want to do, but they can't really tell you how to and what makes it work. Whereas when you've got a team of people together where each person has a different personality, then what you're seeing is that they pull it all together and they make it work so that everything works together and gives you what it is that you want to make it all successful. And remember, you can go to my website, and that website is the #1, personalcareercoach.com. And we can sit down with you, and we can show you how to put together a digital marketing system that will help your business take it to the next level in the future and make you a successful business.